It is all about grapes today in the sartorial kitchen. I am kicking things off with a grape and cucumber salad with a yogurt dressing. Then it's my seared Italian sausage with a red wine sauce over ciabatta. Then it's sour grapes, perfect treat for the kiddos. And last but not least, my red wine slush. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me?
Back, everybody. Today is all about grapes. Now, you usually think of grapes, you think of like table grapes, or maybe grapes in a fruit salad, but I want to show that they have much more versatility than that. So I've got some red here, seedless, and I'm just going to grab them all. And then I've also got some green grapes, or white grapes as well. And we're going to rinse those off. I like to do it in the sink, and then I can use the little spray feature and just hose them down. Just make sure you get all the grapes nice and evenly, and you are good to go. Okay, so on to our first dish. I have rinsed the grapes. We're going to start with a nice little salad. Now you're probably thinking Waldorf salad, and you would be wrong. Now that is a salad that has grapes in it, but I wanted a salad that features the grape. So it's a grape and cucumber salad with a yogurt dressing. So I've got a little pack of yogurt here. I'm just going to dump that whole thing out. This is a vanilla bean yogurt. You could do a honey or something like that if you wanted, something sweet, or even just like a plain Greek yogurt. I wouldn't do any of the fruited yogurts like strawberry, blueberry, anything like that. So just do the one container. I need some olive oil, a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and a couple tablespoons of some red wine vinegar. You could also use white wine if you have it. Some salt. Just a nice generous helping of salt. Continue our acid here with a little lemon. Always roll that lemon to get out the juices. I'm just going to come in here, try and watch for seeds if you can, and just give it a nice squeeze. Oh yeah, that's lovely. Just one small lemon. That acid's going to cut through the richness of the yogurt. It's going to give us a nice bright fresh flavor, and we're going to give it a little whisk. Look at the color on that, gorgeous. And it's just nice and acidic, but you still have that sweetness from the lemon and the yogurt. Alright, we will set that aside and we will move on to the meat and potatoes of the salad. So I've got a cucumber here. Can't have great cucumber salad without a cucumber. And slice off the ends. Thank you very much. And then come down here. So we have our nice little half. And we're going to do slices. So really easy. I'm going to line my knife up here and just come through here. And just nice. And those are going to go straight into that dressing. Every last bit of it. And that was just one small cucumber. That's plenty for this recipe. And now for the grapes. Alright, time for the grapes. I've got about half of our container of the red grapes. And I'm just pulling them off the stem. We don't want the stem in our salad. And I'm just going to come in here, we're just going to slice them in half and chop them right into that dressing. I like to slice them in half because then those kind of juices of the grape kind of get to meld with the dressing. And it's just gonna really bring everything together so good. Okay, that is the last of our grapes. We will get rid of this guy, and I'll switch to my spoon and just stir this up. And really I just want to make sure that the cucumber and the grapes are generously coated in that dressing. Oh yeah, this looks so good. Yeah, just look at that, guys. Lovely. This is a perfect little salad. Great for like potlucks. I love the colors of it, the white, the red, and the green. It's kind of like the Italian flag, very Tuscan. Nice little side or kind of potluck thing. That's pretty good. But you know, I have to give it a taste. So let's just come in here. Make sure I get a nice little bite of everything. Okay, so the veggies are still nice and fresh, and the grapes, you get a nice little crunch. That dressing, it's sweet, but it's tart. You get a little acidity. The salt just livens everything up. Oh, so good. So I'm going to set this aside, and we are going to move on to our main dish, sausage and grapes. Salad was amazing, but we are going to move on to our main dish, and that is sausage and grapes. So I'm going to start with the sausage here. I'm going to par-cook the sausage. I've got a pot of boiling water here, and I'm just going to carefully take this sausage and drop it down into this water. So why am I doing this, you ask? Well, I want to get a nice hard sear on this sausage. Just get it really nice and crusty and brown. But I want to make sure that it's cooked through on the inside without the outside getting too done. So I'm going to par-cook it so the inside kind of gets done a little before we give it a nice sear. And then we'll have our grapes and our sauce, and it's just going to be luscious. So I'm going to do that for about 10 minutes or so. I'll set the timer just so I can keep track of myself. And then we will get going on the rest of our dish. So we've got the sausage cooking down. Just about 10 minutes, as I said. We're going to go ahead and start on the basis of our sauce. So I have a couple shallots here. I like the shallots for this. You're still going to get that kind of sharpness of the onion quality, but it's going to be a little sweeter than, say, like a white onion or yellow onion, and not too sharp like a red onion. And you just want to make sure we peel these really good. We don't want any of that hair in our sauce. Just like with the cucumber, I'm just going to come in here, about 1/8 inch, just so everything is the same size. And why? So it cooks the same. And that's perfect. Depending on the size of the shallot, you're going to need about, yeah, 1 or 2. That's going to be plenty. Now, I'm going to turn this off. It should be done. Beautiful. Grab my tongs. We're just going to transfer these from the pot to the skillet, being very careful not to bring any of that water with us. I've got my skillet heated here. I'm going to throw a little more oil in. That's just to keep everything from sticking, even though this says Teflon. And then we're just going to be very judicial with the moving of the sausage. And as you can see, it's already started to cook on the inside because it's kind of changed color. Ooh, listen to that sizzle. And the reason I want to abstain from getting any of this water is because I want the sausages to sear and get nice and crusty and not steamy. We're looking to brown the sausages. And one more there. Perfect. Beautiful. Those are going to sear for a few minutes, and then we're going to turn them over so each side gets some good color on it. Alright, let's give these babies a little turn. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mmm, so good. Give them all a nice little turn. I'm OCD, I like them to face the same direction. And we'll just let that go, and we'll continue to turn them. Okay, I would say those sausages are ready to come out. Oh, beautiful. Now, you could eat them just like this, but we are not done yet. So, I'm going to first wrap these babies up and let them rest while we move on to our sauce. So the first thing I have here is those shallots I diced up earlier. Throw those right in. So you can see the shallots are getting nice and browned. The moisture from the shallot, as it releases, it pulls up all those brown bits from the sausage, and it just gets nice and luscious. That's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to throw in our grapes now. I've got a mixture of the red and the green. So I thought it would be a nice contrast. The green are slightly tart as opposed to the red that are more sweet. And then you get that nice change of color. I'm leaving the grapes whole this time because I want them to like really burst in the skillet and just get nice and like charred and flavorful. And then to this, just kind of toss that around. Let those grapes get really encapsulated. Just a little more oil here just to help us out. Beautiful. Now we're going to start our seasoning here. A little salt. It's going to bring out the natural sweetness. Kind of cut through some of that. Oh yeah, and look, those grapes get nice and plump. They really start to like burst open. Oh, so good. Alright, we just cook this down until those grapes start to get nice and caramelized. They start to pick up the sharpness from the shallot. Now we're going to come in here and finish our sauce. So I've got some balsamic vinegar here. I need about a couple tablespoons of that. Just enough to cover the bottom of the skillet. It's going to add a nice bitterness to cut through all the richness. And then some nice red wine here. I do a rich blend, nothing too sweet. The grapes are already kind of sweet enough. And we just need about a cup of that, about a half cup of that. And then I'll come in here again with our spoon and just kind of stir that around. I'm going to let that reduce until it becomes nice and syrupy. And we will be good to go. As you can see, this sauce is reduced nicely. I'm going to turn it down to a very low. We're going to throw our sausages back in. And I just want to kind of touch them down to the bottom here. I want to make sure they get coated in that lovely sauce that we made. And those grapes are nice and charred. Oh, they're going to melt in our mouth like butter. It's going to be so good. And just get all those juices that the sausage leaves behind. That's going to be extra flavor. And then I'm just going to cover these. They'll go for about another 8 to 10 minutes, just until everything comes together, and we'll be ready to dig in. Alright guys, I think it is time. I'm going to go ahead and take this off the heat, get rid of our lid, and let's dig in. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and grab one of our sausages. This one looks really good. And see how that gorgeous sausage just encased the sausage. I did turn them once while I was gone. And I like to serve it on a nice piece of ciabatta, almost like an open face. I don't toast the bread because I really want that bread to soak up all the lovely juices and things. And then I'm just going to come in here and spoon those grapes and the shallots right over top. Really get some of those nice shallots. And then we'll come in here and grab some of that sauce, and you can see how it's reduced. It's nice and rich now. Just drizzle that. I want to get it like all over the bread, and it's just going to be nice and flavorful. Oh, so good. And one last thing, some feta. The feta is going to add a nice little salty component. I love cheese, and it's just going to add a nice little salty bite. It's going to cut through the sweetness of everything else we got going on there. But I think we are ready to dig in. Oh, does this not look amazing or what? Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm going to come in here. Oh, and that sausage is nice and moist, juicy, beautifully cooked through. I just want to get a little bite of that. So, I went with the sweet Italian sausage. It's got a slight kick to it, but it really lends itself nicely to everything else we got going on here. Now let's get some of the rest of our goodies here. Oh, so good. The grapes, like I said, like butter, just melt in your mouth. The feta adds a nice contrast with the saltiness, and that bread is the perfect vehicle. It just gets nice and tender, really soaks up all those flavors nicely. So good. Well, I'm going to finish up here, and then we'll move on to our last dish. It is a dessert with wine, so stay tuned. Alright guys, dessert time. This is one of the most simplest things that I make in the kitchen. It is time consuming. This is an overnight thing, so you kind of have to know ahead of time that you're making it. But it is a wine slush. So I'm starting off with my simple syrup. And why I say this is easy, because there's only 3 ingredients. Well, 2 if you buy simple syrup already made. So the simple syrup, it's equal parts water and sugar. You just bring the water up, not quite to a boil, just hot enough that it'll dissolve the sugar. And that's 2 cups of water I've got going in my pot there. And then it's equal parts sugar. And throw that in. And the sugar, like, almost immediately dissolves in the water. But I'm going to help it along here and just kind of stir that around. I want to make sure that it dissolves evenly and doesn't stick to the bottom and scorch. And basically just cook it until the sugar is completely dissolved. And in the meantime, we're going to get our wine. So I've got some more of my Barefoot. This is a fruity red blend as opposed to the rich that we used just a bit ago. I'm going to pour this whole bottle in here. You can use any kind of container you want. You just want to make sure it's something good that's good size that's going to hold all this liquid here. And we can send this to the recycling. I would say that's pretty good. If you can stir the spoon around and it doesn't give that groveling noise anymore, then you know your sugar has dissolved. Also, the water kind of turns a almost off-white color. And easy peasy, we're just going to take this sugar water mixture and dump it right in. Woo! Now you're thinking room temperature wine and hot sugar water. How are we going to get slush out of that? Well, it's going to go in the freezer, and this is why I talked about the overnight thing. This is going to chill overnight. I would say at least 8 hours. So if you made it in the morning, you're having a party at night. But it's really best overnight. So just stir it a little bit just to make sure that that simple syrup is combined with the wine. And then you want to cover it really good. Otherwise you get kind of the freezer burnt on top. And then this is going to go in my freezer. I will pop it back out when it's ready to taste. See you guys then. Welcome back, everybody. It is another day in the kitchen. So we had our salad, we had our entree, and I even made a little adult dessert cocktail kind of thing. I thought it would be fun to do a dessert or kind of treat that the kids can enjoy. And that is frozen grapes. So this is the rest of my green grapes from earlier. I just popped them in the freezer overnight. They're nice and hard now. But we're not going to stop there. I'm going to zhuzh them up a little. So I'm just going to do about a 1/4 cup sugar in that container. And then I've also got some lemonade drink mix. We're going to take some of that as well. And just get about equal parts. Okay, I think that's going to be pretty good. And then we just come in here and toss this together until the sugar and the drink mix becomes well incorporated. So the sugar is going to add a nice little sweetness, and then the drink mix is going to give you that kind of sour component. And I chose the green grapes. You could use red, but I think the green are naturally a little more sour than the red, so I think it's going to play nicely with this recipe. Alright, now we're just going to take the grapes and throw them right in. They're a little wet. They have some condensation from the being in the freezer, so we can toss them right up. And as you can see, our mixture is coating itself to the outside of these grapes. And really, you just need enough mixture to coat the grapes. That's why I didn't make too much. And just kind of, don't be afraid to get in there with your hands and really mix it up. I just want to make sure they're generously coated. And there we have it. Perfect. It's almost like that sour candy that you always used to eat as a kid, but it's better for you because it's grapes. So let's come in here and give it a little taste and just look. All that wonderful sugar and lemon on the outside. Yeah, so it's just nice and tart, sweet. The frozen grape, though, just gives you a different kind of texture. It's nice and cool, so it's like a perfect little summer treat. Okay. I'm going to clean this up, and we will be ready to get out our slush. Stay tuned. Alright, slushy time. As you can see, this is solidified nicely. But we are not done with it just yet. We need to break it up so it's edible. Yes, when you first pull this out, it's a solid brick. So what I do is I just take a fork, almost like you're raking sand or raking like a garden bed, and you just come in here and pull it up, and it kind of flakes away into like a little icy slush. And you just kind of keep going at it. You'll get down to the bottom layers of it all. You can come at it at different directions. So good. Alright, I think this is ready to dig in. Alright, so I've got my little fancy martini glass here that my favorite person gave to me. I'm just going to serve up just a little here, just to give it a taste. Okay. Doesn't that look refreshing? So this is great, little summer poolside kind of dealy. I mean, it's frozen wine. What more do you want? So it's sweet. That simple syrup makes it nice and sweet, but that's also what allows the wine to really kind of freeze up like this. Just like a little granita or Italian ice, but the adult version. So good. Well, I'm going to finish my little treat here. But I thank you guys for joining me in the kitchen once again. As always, like and subscribe, hit me up in the comment section, and until next time.